Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have on the show country music, singers, songwriters, entertainers. I've got Alyssa and Wayne Brewer with their new album that came out this last year, a tribute to George Jones and Tammy Wynette. They sing George and Tammy. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Well, you know, it's so much fun listening to this album, and especially that I have the real vinyl. And so I've got to ask you both now, Alyssa, you got to tell me why? Why cover George and Tammy? Not the easiest. I mean, really, of all the artists, you know, and I know you guys come from a heavy music background. We'll talk with Wayne in a little bit because he'll talk a lot. But I wanted to get you first.
Okay. Well, George and Tammy we've listened to like his whole life. But when I met him, it was a focus of ours is country and bluegrass. And George and Tammy are, of course, the big one. So you listen to them. I always love Tammy singing and George's, of course. But, you know, we love the All I Have to Offer You Is Me. It kind of fits our story and that kind of stuff. And just all the other classics. We just always loved their music and all the other duets, too. But George and Tammy's just kind of, you know, your go-to on country music when you think of country music.
Well, and I think your voices, you know, as a husband-wife duo, your voices sound so good on this. But I've got to ask you, too, Wayne, it's like Brother Mason was also helping produce this album.
Absolutely, yeah. He actually engineered it, and me and him co-produced it.
Right.
Of course, Dad's on the album, too. He done all the guitar.
Right, Gary Brewer.
Yep. And so, you know, our rhythm section was basically the Ramblers, Kentucky Ramblers.
Which you play with
correct.
on a regular basis, in between, you know, fun stuff like this.
Exactly. So that was this, and this kind of just come to be like within the last 6 months as sort of a side thing, but it's sort of, you know.
Well, also now, wait a minute, Wayne. This is a side thing that's taken on its own life.
It really has.
Because, you know, you've been featured in CMT, had videos featured there, also in People. And you've had 2 videos that have gone viral with this album. So the side thing seems like it's doing pretty well.
It really has. And, you know, Dad was like, now, hey, he said, if you need to use the bus, it's yours anytime. And I said, well, now that you said that, I'm going to have to take you up on that.
You know, and a lot of, you know, artists, and certainly you've been playing since you were a small child, Wayne, you know, it's like you could take the family guitars out, which you've got your dad's, you know, first guitar.
Yeah.
But whenever you have a family bus,
oh, yeah,
that's not a bad thing when you can borrow the family bus and go out on the road.
That's right.
You know, and I know you guys are already planning like a huge tour and everything for 2024 with a lot of other great things going, but you've got to tell us about these incredible outfits that you and Wayne both got from Manuel, who is also known for doing the nudie suits and everything. I mean, every major country artist, I think, in history. So it's kind of fitting that you and Wayne got to meet and hang out with Manuel, and then he made these clothes for you guys.
So he's the mastermind, of course, of everything. But one of his dreams was to meet Manuel and talk to him, and I just kind of went with him. But it was an amazing experience. He just had all the stories about all the people he's met and made clothes for, and he just took us in, and we stayed all day with him because, you know, Wayne loves to talk, and I talked to him too, believe it or not. But,
she did.
We tried on clothes and we're fitted in these and other ones that, you know, they'll see, and they were in the music videos. And yeah, he's really nice. His wife.
I think what's fun about this too, though, it kind of sounds like me at a guitar shop. I didn't go in intending to buy.
That's right.
But suddenly, after you go visit Manuel and his wife, then you're walking out with clothes.
It's like we became best friends in that day.
I'm also concerned about your daughter. Your daughter's still going to have enough food and formula and everything after the purchases, right?
She's good.
He's making her a headband right now with rhinestones on it.
I just wanted to make sure that this is not going to, you know, because I mean, you know, 1 year old now.
We didn't have to not buy formula. She had breast milk at the time.
Okay.
She's okay.
I'm just a little concerned,
No, she's
you know,
good.
since you guys have new clothes from Manuel now. It's not like going to JCPenney.
Yeah, she'll get hers someday.
Okay.
She'll get some too.
Yeah, well, I mean, but the outfits look great. And so,
Thank you.
know, besides being in the music videos, you're both performing in these.
Yeah, it's our go-to stage outfits because they kind of show the old country style, and we bring it to the modern day kind of.
Well, I've got to ask you this question too, Wayne, with the album, and it's available on vinyl, CD, and obviously on digital. I was listening to you as well on your Spotify channel.
Okay, cool.
Which is very nice now. But I wanted to bring this up. I mean, Wayne, how did you pick these songs? Because certainly, you know, I've got my favorites like Golden Ring,
right.
You know, which I Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms that you guys did. I mean, and you and I were talking about before we came in studio. It's like when you're covering George Jones and Tammy Wynette, you're covering the big league. I mean,
Right.
that's bold, especially, for a young artist like yourselves. How did you pick these songs?
Well, I don't know if I'm a nut or a genius on agreeing to do this project, thinking back on it. Now, when I done it, I just said, yeah, they offered it to us, and I said, that sounds like a great idea. And I called Alyssa, I said, hey, I've just committed us to doing this. And she's like, what?
Yeah, I agreed. He signed us on.
You had no choice.
So,
yeah,
the point
you just said, is there a
is,
free outfit in
but
this?
at the time, honestly, at the time, I just thought, man, this will be really awesome and something that I think we can do. But after we've already done it and looking back on it, I was like, what in the world was I thinking? But, so here's the deal. They give me total choice on songs,
Right.
which is like, every song that's been a big country song in, back in the day
Right.
for 30-year period or more, George cut at some point in his career.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, which one? So I wanted to do some of the ones that everybody thought of when they think of George Tammy, like Golden Ring, We're Gonna Hold On, all this.
Well, and
But
also songs that worked for you and Alyssa,
Right.
too.
I wanted to also do the obscure ones like Rosie Bouquet,
Right, which I
like
enjoy.
Southern California. There's
yeah.
so many people that's like, oh, man, that's an awesome song. When did y'all write that? I said, George and them cut that way back then on one of their early albums.
Well, do you
but
feel like you
nobody
guys
ever
are
covered it.
bringing this music back to a younger audience now? Because, unfortunately, and not knocking, country music radio and everything like that, but you don't hear this music as much on country music, radio anymore. And so do you feel like you're bringing this music, the songs, and George and Tammy back to a younger audience?
That's kind of the goal we had with this, and thankfully to SGM Records and to Sony Music and the Orchard, they've made it possible for us independently to get it in front of everybody and sort of rival other mainstream artists
Right.
with the old stuff.
Well, and also to get on some of the major playlists that
Exactly
include
what I'm saying.
artists like Willie Nelson,
Right.
and it's like, that's not bad company.
No, it's not.
One of the, he's a national treasure,
Right.
for sure.
But I mean, to be on those kind of playlists, Wayne, with your new album that just
Sure.
came out this past September. So then, of course, everybody's going to be asking, what's next? I mean, are you guys already back in? I mean, you've got your own studio there in Kentucky. You're borrowing the family bus. You're using a few of Dad's guitars when he's not using them.
Right.
So, I mean, what's it looking like for this year? What do you guys think?
We're announcing our own headline tour here first part of the year. Our booking agent's standing right over there.
Right.
So we've got a lot of cool stuff cooking with that, and we're so excited about it. And we're just having a good time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think this has been. What's been so good about this is because we done this. We wasn't on like a super hard deadline.
Right.
Like, oh God, it's got to be done.
Right. It's not
by
like you were having a
tomorrow.
baby or anything at that
Well,
time.
now,
There was
She
that's
was
a whole
already
different
born,
story.
like a month before.
Yeah. Oh well, then you're in the slow lag time.
Yeah, no, we had all kinds of time.
Yeah, it's not like you
She
need
said,
more
when are we
sleep.
Especially
supposed,
me,
she said, when are we supposed to do this? And I said, well, but honestly, what we did is, of an evening when normally you'd be sitting on the couch,
Right.
right? Most
Yeah.
people be sitting around watching TV, us included.
Especially when the
we
baby's
went
sleeping.
down to the studio, had Mimi or Gigi watch the baby.
Yeah.
In other words, we laid everything down and said, okay, let's come down. And she
Right.
said, I don't think I can do all this. This is the second time she's ever been in the studio.
Right.
This album.
Yeah, and not for you.
No.
A couple more than that.
Unfortunately not. But anyway, no, I love doing that. But the point is, she said, I don't know if I can sing these, because like you're saying, this is Tammy Wynette
Oh my gosh.
stuff.
I've listened
She
to
said,
them,
"I
but
don't
I've never,
think I
you know,
can
recorded
sing
them."
these
Certainly.
in front of your dad and your brother. Like, I don't think I'll be able to do it. I said, look, here's what we'll do, because I did want a certain feel to this, and I said, we'll do everything and lay everything down, lay my vocal down,
Right.
Mason track mine. And I said, Mason, show me how to hit start and stop, and record. And so he did, had it all set up for me out there, and then I run everybody off, and then she come in and she cut the whole album straight looking through the glass at me,
That's great.
just singing
Right.
it to me. I said, you
Yeah.
can sing it to me.
And what an intimate way to do it too, and
Right.
with the songs and everything.
I think it translates.
I think it definitely does. And I think that's why you've got videos that have gone viral. And so many of these songs are being added to playlists. And once again, as I said earlier, between, CMT, rolling out the videos, also People magazine, it's like you guys are getting a lot of awareness. Now you got to live up to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the hard part.
especially for me.
You got the clothes. And I've got to bring this up too, Wayne. Obviously, coming from a, sixth generation musician, and certainly your father being Gary Brewer and the Kentucky Ramblers that you've played with, it's like you kind of got it in your blood. And so, and so you have a young daughter
she's already.
You got on the Opry stage
Yep.
when you were 18 months old.
Yeah.
We had her on stage 2 weeks ago at Christmas in the Smokies, and she was up there jumping and dancing. And she's already patting her foot. She'll listen to this. We're going to hold on and clap her hand in time.
Right.
You know, and so like you said, it's in there. You know, I mean, and if she decides
She
to do it,
danced in the womb while we
Yeah,
were
she
performing.
did, yeah.
When she loved music
2
from
weeks
the beginning.
before she was, you know, we had her at the hospital. We were playing Bourbon and Beyond, which is one of the largest festivals in the United States.
Right.
With the Ramblers. And Alyssa come up there, you know, with all pregnant and everything in a big sequined dress.
Right.
And so that was 2 weeks before, literally 2 weeks to the day we were sitting there having her from that. And there's photos of that online and stuff. And so she was like, and I mean, I cried during that performance because we sung that If I Needed You, you know, the old Towns Van Zandt song. Which ironically enough, Eric, that is what you asked me earlier. What started all this? Initially, in 2015, we done a thing on Dad's record. He said, y'all need to sing this song at your wedding. The old Towns Van Zandt song,
Right.
If I Needed You. And I was like, I had never heard it. And so I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome. So we did. Of course, we cried like babies. And then so Dad said, y'all need to record that on this album of mine. And so, okay. And so she was like, first time studio, well, we done it. And then it sort of snowballed from there. And then last year, about this time now, ironically, they were like, hey, what about that duet album? People at Sony, and I said, what about it? You know, I mean, in other words, because I've been telling them for
let's also talk about this a
8
minute,
years,
though, Wayne.
yeah.
Usually, you know, Sony doesn't reach out to you.
Well,
It's not a bad thing to where, I mean, a lot of people are going, please, Sony, would you do something
me
with us?
included, for years.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
but now when they're asking you,
I still don't really know how that one happened, but the guy told her, what did he say? I captured him. That's what she said that I told. And she said, well, it's ironic because he did the same thing to me. So that,
well, and also you got
if I
Manuel's
never-
seal of approval. To
Well,
where
look,
when you
if
go
I
into
never-
Manuel's house to work on your clothes, well,
Right.
not to actually buy clothes, just to visit.
Yeah, to visit.
And you walk out with 4 outfits, like everyone does. But then also that Manuel says that you have it.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what he's talking about.
Manuel
Have
has
something.
worked with, you know, Porter Wagner, Marty Stewart, Johnny Cash. The list goes on and on. I think he's probably got a pretty good eye and an ear by now.
They feel sorry for us. That's what.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
No, if I never do nothing more than just when I married her, I've done a good thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, she's a good woman, been good to me, and she'd have to be a good woman to put up with me all these years. We just celebrated 10 years together and 8 years married when they shared the thing on People.
Well, then let's ask the important questions then now. Wayne, what other guitars are going to go out for this tour? Because, you know, you're used to doing more bluegrass stuff with your dad.
Right.
Which he is obviously known
Sure.
for, won a lot of awards. You're in country territory now.
I do this, and I can, not to float my own boat, but I can play with any rock band with an electric guitar, and I love it. I'm a huge Kiss fan. We're going to be visiting with Paul Stanley's son next month out in L.A. It's just, this has all opened a lot of doors. Just, I couldn't even begin to tell you, but I love that, and I love collaboration between genres, especially.
Definitely.
I think it's so good and so needed in today's modern landscape of music.
I agree.
So anyway, I just, I love it, but at the end of the day, I don't want to get rambling on that.
Well,
Eric,
and also,
but,
I mean, and basically what you're saying is you can't afford any new guitars because you bought the Manuel
well,
outfits.
I like,
And I
in other words, I
understand.
like
And
the
you've got a young
electric.
daughter,
Right,
right,
I
you
like
know?
the electric. This one here is my guitar of choice.
Pride and joy.
It's a 68, so like you said, it's the first Martin my dad got. He gifted it to me on my 25th birthday, which I asked for a guitar, you know what I mean, a nice guitar.
Right.
But I didn't think he would give me one of the vintage ones. I thought he would just give me something decent, and that's all I really
Well,
wanted.
it's also a tribute to your father and to your musical legacy.
Sure. Well,
to
he
continue
gave
playing
me a
that.
note, and I can read it to you. But every time I read it, if I'm settled down, I'll cry. It says basically he's proud of what I'm doing and carrying on the stuff, and that makes me feel good, of course. And because, you know, my dad's always been my best friend.
Right.
A lot of people you can't, you know, they don't get along and stuff, but Dad's always been just great, man. So, and he's supported us with what we're doing. He was like, you know, I'll go out and play, which I haven't asked him to do that yet, because I don't want him to do anything that he wouldn't, I don't feel like he would do with his own band, if that
Right.
makes sense. Because we're
Definitely.
just starting this, you understand?
Sure.
He's been doing it.
It's a heck of a start, though.
So he was like, hey, man, you know, he said, if you want me on it, I'll be glad to do it. And I said, well, we will, but I want it to be, you know,
Well, and like we were talking
something
to Wayne,
large.
where it's such a great foundation for anything that you
Sure.
and Alyssa want to do, which I love the A&W.
Yeah.
Because automatically I thought, well, this should come with root beer also, or
I'm
something.
telling
I mean,
you.
And
you- the
I
little
came up
frosty
with,
mug.
we come up with that when we were dating.
Nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
She come up with that.
it's just
Was
our-
that your line?
That was just the thing. She had that even when we got married at A&W, the whole deal, and I was like, oh, that's cool. We've even got, ironically enough, in our living room right behind where we sit on our couch, there's a big A and W.
Yeah.
It has all of our pictures that her mom made us when we got married. It's like a little collage.
It seems like it's
thing.
kind of destined to be, and also you have stickers available on the website too.
Stickers,
which can
merch,
go
hats,
everywhere.
shirts, all kinds of stuff. We're getting.
I have a feeling this is going to be a big year for you two.
Yep,
Well,
it sounds like
I
it.
hope so.
You got
know.
a tour just to pay for the outfits.
I'm telling you. You know what? Here's the thing. I will say this, and I'm going to hush about all this craziness. But listen, this is very odd, and you'll never hear anybody my age say this ever again. I'm 28 years old. We've been married 8 years. I own my house free and clear, all my vehicles free and clear. I don't pay anybody for anything, and all that's thanks to my dad.
Yeah.
Letting me go out and paying me big money like in other words, he paid me like if a grown-up artist was
Right.
playing with him. But I was a
Definitely.
kid all the way up. But he said, if you can play up with them, then I'll hire you, and if you can't, I won't. See, he
Right.
was tough. In other words, he wouldn't let me do it unless and he's never used a set list, so he was always like, hey, you got to be able to play any of them.
Yeah.
So that's why it was harder.
That's
but
my favorite
anyway,
line with any band I play. Follow me.
the point is, for
going,
that, you know, so I was sitting here when the opportunity came for this, and because I've been saying that we were going to do an album together. We'd been saying it since we were dating
Of all the duets.
10 years ago.
Right.
Different ones.
But we had never done it. You know why? I'll do it when I get time.
Yeah. Right
When's
after a
that
baby,
happen?
that's the best time.
When's that happen? Well, there ain't no time, okay? Well, there ain't no time. I told her, I said I was waiting for the opportunity, not
Right.
the time. So when they knocked, I said yes. And so now, because I was sitting there thinking, you know, what's a guy do? You know, you just sit there, we going to retire?
Right.
In other words, I didn't need to do nothing.
No, but but especially
But
be able to do it with your wife.
I said, I'm just getting old sitting here, you know, sitting
Create
around.
music.
So I said, we need to do it while we're young because,
Right.
you know, time we get, you know, another 10 years, I figure I won't want to, you know, do as
You'll
much.
still be going strong. Well, I'll tell you what, you definitely want to get your own copy of it. However you consume music, whether you listen digitally, you know, they've got CDs available on the website. Also with the vinyl that I'm holding right here, which is awesome. It's A&W Sings George and Tammy. I want to make sure for the website and social media, where do they need to go?
awbrewer.com, correct?
awbrewer.com, and then Alyssa and Wayne Brewer on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be on more magazines too, wearing the fancy outfits?
I hope so.
Well, I'll tell you
I
what, I
hope
love
so.
the music. There's so many great songs on here. And if you're a fan of traditional country, also with a younger feel and younger sound, check this out. I think you're going to enjoy it as much as I do. A&W Sings George and Tammy. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.